LUX by Lloyd Barnes. Is it worth the hype? Let's find out. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So happy to be here this week talking about LUX. This is something that everybody in the magic community has heard about probably. If you haven't, this is Lloyd Barnes' new release where it's all about UV light and making it appear, disappear and all that sort of stuff. There's been a big campaign coming up to it. People have been talking about this. I've got my hands on one, ordered it on the day of release. Just got it today, have been messing around with it, watched instructions, performed it a few times already. So let's go into it. And when you order Lux, let's see what you get. When Lux arrives, it comes in this lovely box here, which is nice, shiny, great packaging again by Murphy's Magic. The packaging, I think, in Magic in general has just gone through the roof in recent years. So you get this, it comes inside the box. On the back of the lid, you have your instructions, and in the box is where the UV pen and the ink is. So I take them out here so I can show you what they are. So this is the pen you get. Lovely UV pen. It's just a normal UV pen. Just nice, it's got Lloyd's signature on it, and UV ink looks good. And also you get your Lux gimmick. I've taken off some of the chain on it to make it shorter so it works better on my keys. But this is what you get. You get the pen. If I turn it on, there, as you can see, you have the UV pen. So that's the gimmick you get, and as you can see, that showed up pretty well on my skin, even with the ring light and all that sort of stuff shining at me. So it's very bright, and you get it here. So these are what you get. You basically get the Lux gimmick. The batteries are inside in it, and they show you where to get spares. You don't get any spares with it, but you get the pen, you get the pen and the light. That's what you get when you order it, and the packaging, and then a link to the instructions. So now let's move on and talk about the instructions. The instructions for Lux are really good. They're on Murphy's site. You get your link, you get your passwords, you can go into them. They finally have chapters on this, which is really good. And not only is it chapters, it's actually broken up into 4 parts, which is really good. So the first part in it begins with Lloyd Barnes going through a quick setup on how to, if you just want to take it out of the box and go for it and not watch anything else, the basic setup of what you need to do. I don't advise doing that. There's a lot of great advice throughout the instructions, especially at the end. There's a bit by Javier where he talks about how to use the light, because what's nice with this is talking about it. Lloyd and Murphy's Magic very open and upfront about what this actually is. On Lloyd's channel, he did a video where he actually just went through everything, what it is, how it works, all that sort of stuff. So I feel free to talk about it here. So this is a UV light that has a UV bulb and a non-UV bulb in it, and it can circle between it in different ways. So because there are 2 bulbs in it, they should line up, and they don't line up exactly as 2 bulbs, so they're side by side. So this is something when you first get it you'll notice, and especially because when magicians were looking for that sort of stuff, you will notice it. But later on in the instructions, Javier talks about this. It's in a chapter called UV pens and ink or something like that. It's right down at the bottom. It's in part 3. There he talks about this and how to use it, and gives a great piece of advice of holding the pen at a 45-degree angle to what you're using, whether it's your skin or a piece of paper or whatever you're using with it, and that's how to get it. And also the orientation of the button and all this sort of stuff really helps to make the illusion better and cleaner and get the super visuals that you see in the trailer and all that sort of stuff. So definitely watch all the instructions to go through it. The instructions themselves are very clear. So as I said, Lloyd Barnes begins it and he goes through everything, just how to set it up. Then Javier comes in, talks about what you might need to do with your pen, because sometimes things rattle around in shipping, little things that you might need to do there, handling. And then there are plenty of routines. There's the X routine we've all seen in the trailer, like double cross. There are mentalism routines, lottery predictions, word search things. There's so many routines. Some of the ones for me that I think I'll be using a lot would be, I like the mentalism reveal on the arm of a word. I think that looks really cool, really strong. It suits me quite well. I like the sort of ashes routine presentation. I think it's You Voodoo is like the name of that one. I think it's super strong. It's one again I can see myself using quite a bit. So those are the instructions. Javier again, great teaching the whole way through. Lloyd really goes through it, and there's a lot of work on crediting, even things that like there isn't anything like this out there, but anything similar, even in movies and TV shows that have been done in the past, is all credited, which is really nice to see, and it's really thorough. So again, thank you to Murphy for having the chapters, the videos broken down into chapters. Each one is less than an hour long, so it doesn't take that long to get through it all. Brilliant, went through it, learned everything really quickly, lots of routines, lots of ideas. I'm sure we all have plenty of ideas ourselves. with this that you can go through. So everything's very clear, very well shared. Murphy's magic quality. So that's the instructions. So now let's move on to whether or not this is difficult. So is LUX difficult? It's not difficult. It's pretty straightforward once you know what to do. The only thing where you really want to practice is make sure you're getting your angle right so you can have it appear as cleanly and visibly as you want, and getting the distance right for yourself, and working out with lighting that you're standing in the right position to block and create a bit of shadow for the thing, which is all covered in the instructions. But those might take a bit of time. And then as well, if you're handing this to someone, it might be a bit of audience management practice. So if you're a seasoned performer, it should be fine. Just know when you're handing it to them that, like, have them shine on you. If you need to, like, move to that 45-degree angle, maybe move yourself or position them a little bit. That's a way to make it even cleaner, but it should be fine. Nothing to worry about. It's not that difficult. You can really just apply through it. The pen does itself. Once you know what setting you're in, you can really go through from there. You might need time to memorize it, but you get a picture that you can save on your phone or something so you can refer back to it. And the colors do kind of sync up in a way as well, that like green is appear, blue is vanish, red is cycle, those sort of things. So once you have that in your head, it's pretty straightforward how to go, that you can get through it. And most people probably only use like 2 or 3 settings. So once you know those ones, for me, I like the solid green and the flashing red. Those are the ones that I will be using the most. So it's not difficult, it's very straightforward, but might take a bit of practice more in the performance side of things to make sure that everything is as clean as it should be, and you don't have to worry about your spectators doing anything that you don't want them to do. So that's it. Is it difficult? So now let's move on to Steve's questions. For those of you who watch the podcast, you know that my co-host is Steve, and he always asks me the same questions whenever I get a new trick about what my thoughts are on them. So let's go through these questions now. The first one is, will I do it? Yes, this is something I will be performing. I already have routine ideas I like, especially the mentalism reveal, just having someone think of a word and it just appear on my skin. I think I really like that idea. Or having a thought like appear and then disappear, all that sort of stuff. So I see it using it in more of a mentalism-y way rather than like the double cross style thing. That's kind of where I see myself using it. And also in the sort of the blind stabbing on like a lottery ticket, those sort of things, I can see myself using it that way as well more. And also I'll definitely set up the invisible deck idea as well, because I think that's really strong. And also the bank, there's loads of routines. I definitely will be performing this, and there's plenty of routines I'll be doing. I'm happy to purchase. Yes, I am. I think, as it's been said on many places, electronic magic is quite expensive, and this is a piece of electronic magic. It's not like an impression pad type thing or any of those sort of things, but does have electronics in it. So to have that come in at like the $75 mark, I think it's really good. I think it's good value for what you get, and the fact that you can use any UV pen as well, I think that is quite handy. So I definitely happy with my purchase, and I think I got it from Vanishing Ink as well. So I got Vanishing Ink from Vanishing Ink, which is great, and it arrived pretty quick. So definitely happy with my purchase. Should you get one? I think definitely. I think this is one of the things that everybody will be using it, but everybody will be using it in different ways, because it is a tool rather than a trick itself. So I can definitely see Steve using it in different ways, especially the escapology stuff. You could have like things with keys where one key is marked with UV or whatever you want to do. There's loads of ideas like that. And is there anything else like it out there? There isn't. Like, if you're just going to do the double cross trick, there's double cross, but this isn't that. There's nothing like it where you can make UV appear and disappear that I've seen out there. So there's nothing else like it. If you want to do those sort of routines, LUX is really the way to go. So those are Steve's questions. I hope those helped. And now I'm going to go on to the frequently asked questions. For LUX, the frequently asked question I've seen, the first one is about the pen. So the pen, about refills. You don't need refills of this pen because any UV pen will work. I have talked to Lloyd about whether or not they're going to come out with these. They don't know, because they don't know demand. So there's no decision made in it yet. But it's a nice pen. It looks good, but any pen will do. So you don't need to have refills of this. So that works quite well. The other frequently asked question I had as well about is about the bulbs, and is how deceptive it is. So it's definitely one of those things that once you get your angles right and you know what you're doing and you practice with a little bit, there's no worries there. You can go as clean as you want through it. So that's absolutely fine. That's just watch the instructions the whole way through and you'll be happy with your answer. I was a bit like, oh, when I first got it, but then once you actually go through the instructions, everything's fine and do everything as you should. It really works out. It's one of those things you might need to play with to just get to feel of it yourself. So those are the frequently asked questions. So I hope those help. So now let's move on to something I didn't like. So with every product, there are things that you like and the things that you don't like. For this, I think I like quite a lot with it. There is that thing with the bulb lineup, which people have talked about, which I don't think is a big deal once you get the angles. It would be cool if you could have a magic bulb that could change, but like the technology doesn't exist. So when you have two bulbs next to each other, they're not going to line up perfectly. There's no way around that. So once you can do that and you get your angles right and you know what you're doing, and I performed with my wife, she didn't notice. So I think it might be one of those things that is just a magician's mind. It's one of the things, once you notice it, it might be hard to unsee, but for the general public when you're performing, no one will notice it, and you're fine with that. So that was initially a worry, but once you actually start playing with it, and Lloyd has a video on the Facebook group, and Javier Kerr sitting on the instructions, so that's fine. So it was just a magician thinking at the beginning of panic without watching the instructions, which is something we should all avoid, because definitely watch all the instructions going through. That's the only thing I really don't like about it. So I think you can get the UV pens. I think the things there pretty good. So now let's move on to my rating. For those of you who watched these reviews before, you know I don't give a rating out of 10 or a percentage or anything like that. My rating is how will I be using this. So this is going to be on my keychain. So I will be carrying this on my keys. Sometimes I will also just carry it in that little pocket in my jeans, the little small coin one, so I'll be keeping it in there. Quite happy. I don't think I'll be carrying the UV pen as an EDC. This will be an EDC, but this mightn't be. But I will have business cards or things on me that I've written on in UV, just to make it easier for myself to do a reveal at anywhere, anytime. So even in the morning, I might just write something on my arm and go out. Or if I know I'm going performing, then I'll carry it with me. But just an everyday thing, I'll have a business card with a prediction in my wallet or in my phone case where I can make it appear whenever I want. So that's kind of how I'll be using this. So this will be an everyday carry for me. So now let's wrap it up. So LUX by Lloyd Barnes. Do you have it? What do you think about it? Are you going to get one? Comment below. If you have any other questions as well, let me know. If you like this video, found it helpful, give it a like, subscribe to the channel. Really helped us out a lot. We just had an interview with Gareth Thomas on the channel as well this week, and we had an interview with Lloyd before this came out as well a couple of weeks ago. So make sure you check those out. Follow us for more. We have more interviews coming up with some huge names in magic. So make sure you keep it locked on the channel, give it a like, hit the notification bell, all those YouTube things. If you have LUX again, let me know your thoughts. I'm in the Facebook group as well, so I can't wait to see everybody's ideas and all that sort of stuff there. Thanks again for checking it out, and we'll see you again next time.